Welcome back, listeners. Today, Alex and I are going to brainstorm and break down how designing a well-engineered candidate experience is similar to creating a well-organized traffic grid. Let's get into it. Alex, can you kick us off by explaining the fundamentals of what makes a traffic grid well-engineered, and how does that analogy apply to the candidate experience?
Okay, so I was reading in the paper the other day about in Charlotte, there is an initiative to reduce pedestrian deaths to zero. And the way that the article was written was essentially that the folks that engineer our public roads, they basically look at it and go, okay, there's a concentration of accidents either between cars or between like cars and pedestrians. That is largely a result of the design of the roadway and how the design is influencing the traffic pattern. For example, they say narrower roads cause people to drive slower. If you want people to drive slower, you don't just post, hey, speed limit, drive slower. You narrow the road so that way it changes the behavior and gets the outcome that you want. I think in the same way, there's something really interesting about designing a candidate experience and an interview funnel so that way you can predictably get the outcomes that you want from that experience.
That's a fascinating comparison, Alex. So you're saying just as traffic engineers design roads to influence driver behavior and reduce accidents, we can design the candidate experience to guide behaviors and achieve desired outcomes. Narrow roads lead to slower driving, and similarly, certain elements in the candidate experience can lead to more desirable behaviors and results. For example, instead of just telling candidates what you expect, you design the process in a way that naturally leads them to exhibit those behaviors. Can you give us an example of how this might look in a candidate experience? What specific design changes might we consider to influence candidate behavior positively?
Well, I think if you want to keep candidates from having a lot of anxiety on the journey, like one of the things you can do is put up signs, like really well-designed signs, so that they're easy to read and they know exactly where they are in the process. In the same way that when you're driving down the interstate, there's signs that not only just tell you where you are right now, but they tell you about upcoming exits and where those exits will take you and how far away they are and how far away you are from some destination. So I think that's one really good example. And we talked about this previously about telling candidates where they are in the process and not deviating from that. So you can imagine if you're driving down the interstate, the anxiety that would come if you thought you were going to go to, let's say I'm driving to Kansas City, and then all of a sudden you look up and it says St. Louis. You haven't gone through Kansas City. All of a sudden you thought you were on the right road. Now it's going somewhere else. I think that's the kind of emotion that candidates feel when a process takes a different direction or it changes unexpectedly.
That's a great point, Alex. Keeping candidates informed about where they are in the process and what's coming next is a lot like having clear, consistent road signs on a highway. It reduces anxiety and keeps them confident that they're on the right path. Practical changes might include consistently updating candidates about their status, providing a clear timeline of the hiring process, offering detailed information about each stage of the interview. It sounds like we should aim to create a smooth and predictable experience for candidates, just like a well-marked road system ensures a smooth journey for drivers. Any other aspects of the candidate experience that come to mind which might benefit from this analogy?
I think we've got it, man.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing those insights, Alex. It's a really useful analogy, and I think our listeners will find it valuable. All right, folks, that wraps up today's episode. Stay tuned for more discussions on how to improve the candidate experience and other great topics. Catch you next time.